All right, excellent job. So we got to the end of both of those lists. So
Awesome.
which means that which generally translates to actually our reading goes up to 11th level. But you're probably beyond you finish those, so you're probably beyond those levels, just so you know. But that is just up to what we measure essentially. You are past those levels. We can't confirm like the exact reading and spelling levels because that's as far
Right.
as our testing goes. But I think it's very clear that your reading and writing skills are very like have improved dramatically.
And that's all I can really be thankful for, or like really take in and be like, okay, so not only I am a confident speller, but a confident reader as well.
Exactly.
And
Especially
what I
reader. Like yeah, yeah. Like your spelling
what
is much better, obviously as well, but your reading is incredible now. Like I don't think you'll have any
thank
problems
you.
with reading anymore.
Thank you.
And spelling is always the trickier part, anyways.
I'm just trying to take like the progress or like the credit, because like I'm not trying to what I'm trying to say is that I'm happy with the experience and like the I'm just happy with the progress that I've made this far,
I'm
like
very glad,
already. So,
and thanks for being a fantastic student. And I
and
hope
thank you for being a fantastic teacher. Oh my gosh. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
you're welcome, and I hope that whatever goals you have in the future, that this has helped to reach them.
I felt like this has done more than enough for all of that. And not like just you taking the time to be like, hey, check your tricky letters. Oh, hey, don't forget about this. It's the patience and the time and the encouragement that I really, really enjoy, or that I really, really like appreciate, because that's the kind of teachers that I need. That's the kind of like learning environment that I need to be in. And that's kind of what I learned too throughout my troubles in school. And I'm like, I need to have a teacher who really cares, who really wants to put in the time for students and everything, but also has a good, like, even though this is just online, this already feels like a good classroom, already
Mm-hmm.
feels like a good thing. So I'm so grateful for that. And like I'm already stumbling over here on words, but I'm just truly grateful for this.
Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
very glad. Thank you.
If I could say something real quick, like
Absolutely.
this whole entire program has been really beneficial and absolutely life-changing for a dyslexic person like myself, or
Yeah.
a neurodivergent person like myself. And I've talked to Mr. Chris about this. He does a phenomenal job. He really does. I there's so much that I want to say that my mouth cannot keep up at the moment.
So anyway, when you first started tutoring, you were reading on about a third grade reading level, which is what our average student starts reading on when they come to us, even at your age. Like we've worked with quite a few students who are between 18 and 22. And,
Yeah,
and so unfortunately, the schools graduate you without having the support that you need in order to be successful. And
right.
your mom's
Absolutely.
concern was you being able to go to college.
Yes, that is definitely something that I want to go to, because especially figuring out what I want to do, or like the first few things that I would like to do before that, like big thing I want to do, or that job that I want to take or something like that. I would definitely like to go to college and definitely just slow grind, just get that out of the way and be able to like use these like tricks and teachable lessons from Mr. Chris and from your amazing program, that it's going to help me continue on with my life and continue using those resources and using those lessons in everyday life, even if just from trying to figure out how to spell a word to how to properly pronounce a word, that yeah, for saying words to reading. Like I can already tell that my reading ability has skyrocketed, and be able to like use these like tricks and teachable lessons. And Mr. Chris has said that as well. He said, I've seen the progress and I've seen like the spots where you're missing, and I'm seeing where you're building up and seeing where you're going. And he told me that I'm doing a phenomenal job. And I adore and I love those kind of teachers that really like tell their students, be like, you're doing a great job, or you need help here, you need help there. I am here to help you. When in my experience with school, it was like I was really shy or really nervous about raising my hand for help or anything. Always felt like I was lesser than my other students or my other peers. And so that's where I didn't want to ask for help, because I was just like, well, I'm just going to sit here and struggle like I always do. But with this, I'm going to be able to not be in that weird funk. I'm going to be able to be more confident and say, I need help. Excuse me, I don't understand this and I need help.
That's awesome. So now you feel comfortable and confident enough to be able to advocate for your own needs.
Especially in the classroom, or especially learning wise as well.
Yeah. So you went from reading on a 3rd grade level to reading on an 11th grade level.
Oh my gosh. I am so shocked. Like I don't know if you can tell how shocked I really am, but like that's amazing, just going from a 3rd grade reading level. And it was in 3rd grade. 3rd grade was the hardest, like was a hard time for me. Not only with like words and spelling and reading, it was like with math, it was socially, it was, not having that like feeling of a safe classroom. But even just over camera or over Zoom, it made it feel like I was in one of my old good teachers' classrooms. And that's what really helped me, like, open up a little bit more towards Mr. Chris, kind of like bringing my personality to the lessons and being like, because we would joke and we would like, chat a little bit, but, we would always get back to the lesson. It was always about what we're getting from the lesson. And if we're getting a small interaction or a small joke in between, then that only helps me to continuing focusing and, feeling like I have somebody that who is really here to help me in the ways that I really need help.
Well, and when you first started tutoring, getting to your tutoring sessions on time was a huge challenge for you.
Yes, time management skills. Yes. So also being neurodivergent and dealing with ADHD symptoms, that's where I kind of had to like keep track for myself and really be like, okay, timers, timers, timers in the phone, alarms in the morning. And so when Mr. Chris offered that extra 15 minutes for me to get ready in the morning, I was like, oh, that helps so much, because I could really tell that I went from like kind of waking up a bit groggy and I'm like, I'm still waking up and the gears are still slowly turning, to like actually, not being too tired, but being there and being like, all right, let's do this. Let's get this done. Let's start our lesson for the day.
That's awesome. Is your child struggling with school, feeling overwhelmed? Introducing 3D Learning Experts, your child's personal tutor. Our expert educators provide personalized, one-on-one support tailored specifically to teach to your child's learning style. We specialize in helping students with dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, and similar learning challenges. Our tutors are trained to provide effective strategies for reading, spelling, writing, and math. With our innovative virtual platform, your child can learn from the comfort of their own home. No more commuting or scheduling conflicts. Give your child the boost they need to succeed. Experience the difference with 3D Learning Experts. So do you feel like your time management skills have also improved since you started tutoring?
They have definitely improved. It's like with everything, it's an up and down situation. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, but overall, I feel like my time management skills have been getting better. Absolutely.
That's awesome. And so have you registered for college yet?
No, I have not registered for college yet. I am actually just about to start working again here pretty soon.
Okay. Well, maybe like you said, slowly you could do like one class a semester to
Yeah,
start
that's
your
definitely what I was thinking. I was thinking about just taking like my main courses, just get them done and over with, and then I get to take the fun classes as a reward.
Or you could do it the other way around, start off with
Mhm.
fun classes and get used to college life and then start taking the harder classes. You know,
That would be easier to like get a better like slow transition into it. That's I might take that. I might take that then.
like even like right now, school's probably about to start in another week or two. So there's not going to be that many classes available. But if you like something like archery or tennis or yoga, maybe you could find one of those classes still available, or an art class or a photography class.
Yeah,
And
I would love to do something like that.
yeah, and fit one of those in. And you know, just build up your stamina, because college life is very different. You have to be on your tasks. I mean, even a photography class, you're going to have assignments you have to get done every week, and so you know,
Right.
time management is going to have to come to play for even those kind of classes.
Is a very big role, especially for college and, you know, just everyday life. Absolutely. And I've also been, well, I just started like getting some help or talking to therapists for ADHD. So that is something that I've like been dealing with, or the symptoms of it, for quite a while, and it would make me feel a lot better if I just had somebody just confirm that for me and be like, yes, yes, you do.
Well, knowing your mom, I would say
Yep.
yes.
Yep. Yep. And my best friend, one of my best friends is actually ADHD and autistic. But they've been my best friend ever since second grade, and we have
Wow.
been so close ever since.
That's awesome. So you said they're ADHD, and so do you feel like you can relate to some of their
Heavily, heavily, heavily relate to it. To like the symptoms and stuff that, I mean, their ADHD is a little bit different from mine. Everyone's like neurodiversities are different, but there's a lot of like crosshairs. There's a lot of similarities that
Absolutely.
match up.
Just like dyslexia. Everyone's dyslexia is different.
Hmm.
But there's some crossovers, like spelling is one of them. And most dyslexic students struggle with spelling. Some dyslexic students can read well, believe it or not. So but many struggle with reading as well. But you know, it's I'd say 99% of dyslexics struggle with the spelling part of it for sure.
Right, right.
And Chris said the evaluation that he did with you, you're also reading on an 11th grade level, which is amazing.
Let's go. Let's go. That is amazing. Oh my gosh, I am like truly shocked because of that. Like I could definitely like I could read definitely, but there was that like internal like feeling or that like struggle of like I know I can do it, but why why is my brain like rejecting reading, like just rejecting words? Or like sometimes what would happen in the sessions is that I'll throw words in or like different sounds, and I'm not sure why that happens, but it's probably because of the dyslexia.
Right. It's just that your brain is mixing them up. And I
Mhm.
notice, because I too am dyslexic, I notice when I'm tired, I will struggle to spell basic words that I
Mhm.
should be struggling with. And I'm just like, how the heck do you spell the word bin? Where have you been? Like, I know that word. I mean, it's not an
BEEN.
easy word.
Hmm. That's what I like exactly, because there was one lesson I was like, how do you spell of? Like, how do you genuinely spell of? Like I was lost for like a good few minutes on that, and I was like, wait a minute, it's just OF.
Yeah.
Why is
Because when your brain's not like fully on, you're like
Mhm.
the sounds are not cohesive with the letters.
They're
So
not lining up together? Yeah.
and that's why those are sight words, right? Because the sight words you have to memorize. You can't sound them out. You can't find rules for them and things like that.
And that's what like I've also had trouble with sight words as a when I was younger because they would put you like they would bring you outside to the hallway and then like a teacher would sit with you and you'd sit next to them and be like, okay, then you just go over the words in the packet and then whatever ones you missed, they're like, well, here's the ones that you missed. Read them. And I'm like, how am I supposed to read them if I don't know how to read it?
Well, and a lot of times when we used to do in-person tutoring, we would have our students draw little pictures to help them remember the sight words.
See, I remember that in junior high, my English teacher would say, like, it would give you the word on the packet, and then she'd say, like, oh, if you want to draw something or, think of something that helps you remember the word. That was definitely something that was helpful. And that was something that I definitely like doing because I'm a doodler. I like to draw. I like to, have a pencil in my hand or have some kind of creative art flow happening.
Yeah, so you're a kinesthetic learner.
Mm-hmm. My science teacher is actually like was having like a little like test or something back in junior high. They're like, are you auditory, are you kinesthetic, or visual? And I'm like, I think I'm all three. Like I need
people are more dominant with two of them.
mm-hmm.
But yes, I mean all three, and that's why our program incorporates all three types of learning so that it can really solidify no matter what kind of student you are.
Right. And I really appreciated that because being able to like physically move the mouse and being able to physically move the letters around and being able to like interact with that when with that program that you guys have. I mean, I was able to like doodle little eyes for like the lookout vowels and like add little notes and everything. Like I thought it was a cool little program to use. I was like, so we can just boop, like magnets on the fridge as a little kid, like spelling words and stuff like that.
And you brought up a good point. As an older student, do you feel like the material was juvenile to you or was it appropriate for any age?
Yeah, it is definitely age friendly. It is definitely like anyone can do it. I mean, at first I felt a little silly doing like, oh, okay, so we have to go all the way back to kindergarten just for this. But I was like, well, because those little pieces or those little lessons are going to help us in future ones.
Right.
So like, I know maybe relearning everything maybe would been maybe a little annoying to me, but that was necessary. That was necessary for me to relearn those things and make sure I had those things down because in the future lessons, those things are going to play into that. So that's where I have to circle back to those younger, or I'm sorry, like those smaller lessons, those more simpler lessons. Through that, Mr. Chris and you guys were able to find my deficits and find where I really need help and what kind of direction to put me in. And so I really appreciate that. I really, really do because sometimes my brain will be like, oh, remember these teachers and what they did? And then I think of like the good teachers and it just overshines the bad ones. And I'm like,
that's good.
I'm so glad I can find teachers that actually like do their jobs and actually care about students.
Well, that we definitely do. And, you reaching an 11th grade reading and spelling level is our ultimate achievement. So I'm so excited that we are able to tell you that. And I have a certificate that I will mail to you. See it for completing the program.
Oh my gosh.
It's a huge achievement. I think it's more valuable than a high school diploma.
Oh, yeah, I have to agree with you there. Absolutely. Oh, high school is a bit rough too, and be like, we're doing 4 years just for a piece of paper that says, hooray, you did it. But
check it out.
But having that or being able to like have that in my day-to-day life in the future, just being like, oh, I do have dyslexia, but this is not something that's bad. This is something that's a part of me and there's something that is good and something that I can share with people and be like, hey, I have dyslexia or I'm dyslexic. And being able to share and be like, oh, well, what was your thing? What was your process or something? I can be like, this wonderful program that you made. So
Well,
I could
and
talk to people and be like, yeah, this program works. This program actually does the job of teaching, like teaching you properly and teaching you in ways that I think are even unfathomable, or like it's truly mind blowing. It's truly mind blowing.
well, and just so you know, we have an affiliate program, so you can share with people and put some money in your pocket. So
And make a little money.
yeah.
Wow. I might do that then.
The more students that you refer, the bigger the thank you gift gets. So it starts
Wow.
at $50 for one referral. Yeah. Join the 3D Learning Experts Affiliation Program and make a real difference for students with dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia. It's free to join. Support your clients while earning commissions through our referral system up to $200 per student. We offer seamless onboarding, personalized support, and a shared mission to help students succeed. Ready to make an impact? Visit 3learningexperts.com/affiliate or email us at hello@3learningexperts.com to learn more. So, what was your overall experience of the program?
My overall experience was really positive. Like even on days where like I felt really groggy, or sometimes there would be times where I was like, how come my brain isn't doing the thing that it's supposed to be doing? Mr. Chris, or the teachers still take the time for you to, give you a minute and really like, collect yourself for a second and really be there for you and be like, hey, it's all right, let's just take this one letter at a time or one step at a time, and let's break this down and let's make this easier for you to process.
And how do you feel like the support you received was?
Phenomenal. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. All 5 stars.
Did you ever have a sub,
absolutely.
or was Chris always your tutor?
Mr. Chris was always my tutor.
You've never met any of the other
I had never met anybody else. It was just him. And I was like, well, me and Mr. Chris on like, teacher student basis, we got along really well. Like we would be times where it'd be like chit chatting, make a few jokes here and there. But with that, he made a really opening and welcome learning environment. And that's what truly helps me thrive learning. And that is such a big thing that I've learned, and be like, if I'm in the right environment and if somebody is displaying this energy and having this space to be like, this is a place for learning, this is a place for making mistakes, this is a place for taking your time and understanding, and not just bam 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 and then miss, like you're not, like you're actually getting the little in between things that you need for your brain to like process and go, and that you're not like missing something and then moving on. And then because when you're skipping less, or not really skipping lessons, but when you miss that crucial information that that student needs, or that student misses that crucial information, it gets them spiraling in the other direction. It gets them not learning when they need to be learning.
Which is like what happens in school, right? You miss the crucial parts, and then you just fall farther and farther behind because you were missing.
And I've had this happen time and time again. It would be like a very harsh or like it would feel like an unwelcoming environment, or it would feel like you have to be up to this certain standard as a student from like my certain teachers and my own experience with that. And having those kind of teachers that are kind of like dismissive, kind of very ideologic, very like, you have to be up to this standard, you have to meet my standard, it's my way or the highway. That's where I fall completely, because that's what paralyzes me from raising my hand for help. That's what stops me from talking to my other classmates. That's what's stopping me from learning and comprehending what I need to be learning or what I need to be processing.
Well, and it's unfortunate that in an environment where you're supposed to be able to thrive, most dyslexic people do not.
We decline.
Mhm.
And then sometimes when the teacher isn't like specifically like set for kids with learning disabilities, teachers, it goes right over their head. Like, oh, why are you messing up? Why do you have troubles with words? Why do you have this issue? Because I'm dyslexic. It's because I'm dyslexic. It says in my papers. Like they did the best that they could for accommodations. And I will say the accommodations in this program have been amazing. Oh my gosh, so helpful. Amazing. And I understand that the teachers and the staff were doing the best that they could, but it wasn't the kind of um, compensation that I needed. That wasn't the kind of help that I needed while in school.
Do you feel like when you go to college that you can tell them what kind of accommodations you need?
Oh yes, I feel very confident, and I feel like I am definitely be that person to be like, this is what I need, or I'm out of here. Like I'm giving you all of my hard-earned money for this class. I better be getting my money's worth out of it. Because I'm not going into a classroom if a teacher is just going to be like, it is my way or the highway. That is where I pick up my books and I head out of the classroom.
Well, and
Because
unfortunately, at the college level, there's still some teachers like that. My youngest son is taking culinary classes,
Mhm.
and he had a teacher who just berated lots of students, and he decided to drop the class, and he's now on the waiting list for the one nice teacher. Which I'm sure it's a long waiting list because no one wants that one teacher. And it's like,
nobody wants that one specific teacher.
right,
Yes.
yeah. And why do they continue to keep that horrible teacher? So unfortunately, it doesn't end. But at you being an adult selecting your classes, you do have more say than you did when you were in high school and needed to be there in order to get your diploma.
Right. Right. And then would they in school when they hand you your script or they hand you your schedule for the day and be like, oh, I have this teacher. Oh, I have it at this period. And be like, oh, in college, you can like, man, I could go take classes in the afternoon if I want to. I can take them in the morning, in the evening, whenever.
So what did you think of the pace of the program? I know you said you didn't like having to go back, but you understood the value in it.
Yes, I understood the value in it because that's what helped me. This is what helped me in the long run of things. And that's what helped me be able to feel like a confident reader, a confident speller, a confident student, and be able to talk to teachers, be able to talk to staff, be able to talk to people and be like, I am dyslexic. I have a disability. And, that doesn't make me any different from anybody else, just means that I learn differently from everybody else.
So do you feel like the program was a good pace overall?
Yes, it was definitely a good pace. Maybe sometimes felt a little bit slower.
And what kind of expectations did you have starting tutoring?
Starting tutoring, I was definitely maybe a little bit hesitant, maybe a little bit annoyed because I was thinking like, oh, well, I already have my high school diploma. I'm already done with it. Why do I need to, relearn these things? But it's important because that's what makes me feel like a more confident person. Having this normal, like human ability to read and write and be able to comprehend that kind of stuff would is what that's what helps me feel better about myself and knowing that I can put my foot forward and do the best that I can with the disabilities or the you know that yes, with the challenges, I can move forward from those challenges or move forward learning from those challenges.
And what would you say to your mom who, is a single mom who struggled from time to time to pay for you to finish the program?
I'm sorry for being stubborn, a hard head. um, I would say I love you, Mom. I really appreciate you doing this for me, even though sometimes it would be a little bit of an argument or a little bit of a grievance. Um, this really helped me in the end, and this really helped me feel like a better student and a confident reader, a confident speller, and overall a more confident person as well, and being able to, pick up a book or pick up something and be able to read it and comprehend it. Or, sometimes if I'm having that difficulty, being like, oh, I can turn to somebody for help. I think this program is worth every single penny that she has spent for me for this program. And I feel like I would only, you know, start to like decline a little bit more without this program, without these teachings, without these lessons and stuff. And learning these tricks for dealing with my dyslexia or dealing with these troubles of words. And I know that if I'm having those hard days with words, or I'm having that hard time, that I'm able to, slow down and really think about it and really take the time for myself to process that and being like, oh, okay, now I get it now. Or, oh, now that's what that word is. And being able to not stress about, oh my gosh, I can't get this word. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to spell. I don't know how to write. It don't like, we're not going into that negative spiral. We're going into like positivity. We're going into a more positive light with it. It's being like, oh, well, I messed up on a word, but that's okay. Learning from that and just moving forward.
You made me think about technology. So these days, people can use their phones to get words spelled. And what would you say to that? Like, obviously, that's not sufficient for you to be successful. Can you
It
explain
is,
to parents why?
well, I will definitely say that like using phones and using tablets and using autocorrect and using all of those wonderful technologies that came out, it is definitely helpful, because sometimes when you're typing and you're like, oh, so that's the word that I want. But when you're dyslexic and you do have that quick hack, you do have that quick thing, you do have that, little device in your pocket, um, it's easy to turn to. It's easy to turn to it and being like, okay, how do I spell this word? How do I spell that word? But when you're in school and when you're in a learning environment, and when you're constantly bringing out a phone like that, you could, the kid could get in trouble for being on their phone or being on their tablet. But also the most important thing is that that kid is not learning how to spell those words, or how those words are broken down, or what the definition of them are. I mean, it doesn't tell you like right on the thing what the definition is, but it like automatically bridges the gap to the child and kind of acts as like a handicap for them, and be like, oh, I can use my phone to look up words and I don't have to use my own brain. That's where the handicap needs to come off. And that's where the child needs to, you know, really understand how these words work, how they are pronounced, how they are spelt, and how they are used in certain situations. Not just, Sally went to the car, giving more descriptive words, maybe thinking of enhancing their vocabulary a little more. And find and having that ability to, you know, get that wrong and be able to learn from that is a very important thing for what I feel like for children to learn, because there needs to be a mistake in order for you to learn from it. And if you're just getting them out of the window, you're flying by, then I mean, that's great. But with dyslexic kids, they're not going to have that success. They're not going to have that like natural like ability of learning and stuff like that. And so that's where I feel like it's really important, for teachers as well, and for parents as well to be like, all right, instead of using your phone, let's try it out here first. And then if we get it wrong, then we can try it. Because that's already teaching a small lesson for it. Be like, okay, here's your answer. And if you don't know it, then you learn from it and you move on. And there's no ridicule, there's no putting down, there's no kind of negative like action that you're going to get from somebody just because you did something wrong.
Well, you have a very good way with words. I'm laughing as
I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, just a couple more questions.
Yes, of course.
Is there anything that you wished was included in the program that wasn't?
That wasn't. That's a little hard to say.
Do you wish Chris had done anything differently?
No. No, I don't think so. No, he did a perfect job. I think he did a spectacular, perfect job.
Awesome. And how do you plan on using these skills and strategies that you've learned moving forward?
Having these small tips and tricks and having these small like ability to like give myself time and break down words and really like forgive myself for having that difficulty, that will help me break out of those negative spirals that are so naturally or so quickly to that I would put myself in because of not getting that or not doing it properly.
So do you have goals that you feel like you can achieve now?
Yes, through this, definitely, because having this very natural human like ability to just read and write, and that's what's going to help me carry everything on. Or
so I want to tell you something. Reading and writing are not natural human abilities.
oh
Speaking
yes.
is. But if you think about it, several hundred years ago, regular people like you and me didn't read. It was the wealthy and it was the religious leaders. Those were the only two people who could read in some cultures. Other cultures,
Right.
no one read, right? Because reading is a skill that we learn. And that's one of the big mistakes that parents and teachers have, that they think that everyone should be able to read the same. But it's like basketball. I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at basketball. And some people can, hire a coach and then become better at basketball, but other people are naturally really good at playing basketball. And that's the same way with reading and spelling.
Right.
So yeah, it's important to know that it's not something that you should have automatically been able to do, like speaking should all be able to do, unless we're mute or deaf and weren't able to learn to speak.
Definitely eye-opening, because I've had teachers tell me like, oh, how come you can't read, how come you can't spell properly, how come you can't do this, and I'd be like, is this supposed to be a natural thing that everybody's supposed to know? And like that's where kind of like that self-deprecation kind of came in, and be like, oh well, I'm not a good enough student as the rest of my peers.
Right. And truly, it's just that in our society, everyone needs to know how to read in order to be successful. But it's not necessarily the case. There's some dyslexic people who have written books or gotten PhDs and they can't read. There's a paleontologist, I can't say that word right. He ended up getting his doctorate where he was a maintenance guy, but he discovered dinosaur eggs and he wrote a book.
Wow.
And he says you don't need to know how to read. I mean, I think life's a lot easier when you do know how to read.
Yeah. Definitely, absolutely, I'll agree with you there, but that is amazing.
Yeah, you can look him up. I can't remember his name because that's my dyslexia. I forget names. What advice would you give new students starting the program, especially teenagers or young adults like yourself? Because usually they're very hesitant.
I'll definitely say that when you do have a student like myself that is older, teenager to young adult, like it's okay to have a little bit of that feeling of like, oh well, I'm not really a good student. I never really was. Um, and this is like maybe all silly to me or something. Like I don't need to be learning, you know, baby stuff again, or, what little kids in fourth or fifth grade are going to be learning. But it's important. Learn those past lessons that we haven't learned, that we haven't grasped, that our teachers did not take the time to break down and really tell us how these things work and how these words work, or just the English language in general. That is a huge, huge setback for the students. That is a huge setback to your learning. That's not going to push you forward. That's going to push you behind. Okay. I will say the teacher is doing the best that they can, but the teacher, that that teacher is not going to notice some of the signs or some of the things to look out for in like kids with, younger kids or older kids. And so what's really helpful and what's amazing about this program is that you're finally going to be able to get that help, get that extra, hey, I have a question, or, get that ability and that feeling of I can ask for help. I have the person or have the teacher willing to teach me.
Is your child struggling with school, feeling overwhelmed? Introducing 3D Learning Experts, your child's personal tutor. Our expert educators provide personalized, one-on-one support tailored specifically to teach to your child's learning style. We specialize in helping students with dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, and similar learning challenges. Our tutors are trained to provide effective strategies for reading, spelling, writing, and math. With our innovative virtual platform, your child can learn from the comfort of their own home. No more commuting or scheduling conflicts. Give your child the boost they need to succeed. Experience the difference with 3D Learning Experts.
And watch out for my deficits and learn about my deficits. That's where you're going to be able to thrive as a student, or as a better individual in my case. And that is the best thing ever. It really is, because it fills you, it gives you that emotion of I can do it on my own. I have this, you're being able to take this disability and claim it as your own, and really say, I am dyslexic, but I am still able to do everything that everybody else can do. I can still read, I can still write, I can still spell, I can still comprehend words. It is really relieving when you finally have that, a bit of that hole or a bit of that pit kind of filled, or maybe even filled by one of these fantastic teachers and this fantastic team that is tailor made to be here for you, to tailor made to help you in any way that they can, learning about your deficits. They're going to learn on how to help you better. And so you could keep saying like, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I'm just going to be learning, baby stuff over and over and over again. Those baby lessons are going to be important for at the end. Those baby lessons are going to be the ones that are going to help you feel better as a more confident person, as a more confident reader, because it all starts with baby steps. Because it all starts, you have to start somewhere in order to get to somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure you've had other tutors in the past. What would you say the difference between this and other tutors is?
Well, I mean, I definitely had some like, I think I had like one other tutor, or some kind of, always had some kind of, try to have some kind of like tutoring or some kind of like lesson thing after school.
Right.
It's a lot different, because when you have somebody like tutoring you and like, maybe physically coming to like your house, or physically coming to you, or just over like digitally, they don't know you, they don't know your deficits, they don't know, some of the learning disabilities or what kind of learning disabilities you have. So i feel like I feel like that's I feel like that's where the tutor kind of has to step into a role of a teacher or step into maybe a higher form of a teacher or something like that to be able to help the student or help person relearn these things or learn these things. Also like to, give them at least the benefit of a doubt because, with teachers, just like with anybody else, you're going to be learning about somebody in some way. And so I feel like it's important to, look out for those signs and look out for those little problems and look out for these things that indicate learning disability or dyslexia or, neurodivergency. I feel like tutors can be a very, very great help, a very big help. It's kind of like a therapist, you kind of have to find the right one, the right person to be like, oh, okay, here, now we can get the ball rolling and everything.
You've done a great job, and
Thank you.
I really appreciate everything you had to say. And I wish you the best with in the future, going to school. And if you wanted to continue with our writing program, you had mentioned about writing more creatively, and our writing
Mhm.
program teaches our students how to really become quality creative writers. So something to keep in mind for now or later. But in the meantime,
Definitely.
um, keep us abreast on your progress. And, if you need any help with anything, have any questions navigating going to college or anything like that, don't hesitate to
Mhm.
reach out or watch one of our YouTube videos, because we have a lot
Oh,
of YouTube videos about different types of neurodiversity topics.
oh, that's awesome. That's definitely something that I'll have to check out then. And I'll definitely reach back out to you guys if I need help or anything like that because I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like I have this crazy idea of I'm going to meet some kind of teacher or some kind of guidance counselor and they're just not going to be it for me.
Well, yeah, we are here for you. So stay in touch, and we'll send you the affiliate information so you can make some extra money.
Absolutely. I would love that.
Thank you, Koi.
Of course.